Welcome to Brilliantly British. My name is Lawrence and today I'm going to show you how to make a hearty oxtail soup. So as I show you how to make it, sit back, relax, please, with a cup of tea in hand, putting your feet up too, and enjoy this episode. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe. Personally, soups are one of those things that I don't eat often enough, and I don't understand why. They look amazing, taste fantastic, and can be relatively light too. With this in mind, in this episode, we'll be revitalizing an age-old dish, namely oxtail soup, made properly the long and slow way for flavors and aromas out of this world. And as always, we'll be keeping things simple with marvelous results. So, without much further ado, allow me to introduce the ingredients to you. For today's Brilliantly British oxtail soup, you will need some Worcestershire sauce, some tomato paste, some peppercorns, some celery, some oxtail, some garlic cloves. You'll need some carrots, some bay leaves, some red wine, and some stock. And of course, to avoid the occurrence of bland food, you will need a pinch or two of salt. That's it for the making of today's Brilliantly British oxtail soup. But before you get started, please, before you do anything at all, I say switch on your kettle, brew yourself a nice cup of hot tea so that you can sip on that whilst you cook. To start this fantastic dish, on a well-oiled oven tray, lay on your pieces of oxtail, followed by cloves of garlic, quartered onions, rough chopped carrots, and roughly chopped celery stalks, followed by another drizzle of oil and a generous sprinkle or two of salt before sliding it into your oven to roast to begin intensifying all of those wonderful flavors. Halfway through, be sure to turn over the contents to brown on both sides before returning to the oven. And with a moment to spare, grab yourself a cup of tea and a screen in order to take a well-deserved tea break whilst enjoying our content, making sure, of course, to like and subscribe. Thank you. In no time at all, the contents of the pan will have browned and intensified in flavour. And so, at this point, place the contents into a bowl, and then into a deep pot, scrape in the rendered fat and fond from your oven tray, followed by some diced onions, tomato paste, bay leaves, and yes, take it all in whilst cooking over a medium-high heat, stirring constantly. As you stir, drizzle in red wine, and then reduce until the contents are able to vaguely hold a line, to which your roasted oxtail and vegetables will be added, followed by your beef stock, some salt, and whole peppercorns. At this point, you'll need to simply allow the contents to simmer for 3 hours over a medium heat. Ample time for the meat to tenderize and concentrate the flavors. After allowing the contents to simmer and improve in flavor, gently extract the oxtail from the soup as it will be extremely tender, placing them into a bowl. You'll then want to remove any bones, leaving behind only the meat, and then after discarding the bones, pass the broth through a sieve before returning to your pot. With my oxtail soup, I'm quite partial to fresh, crunchy vegetables, so in an oiled saucepan over a high heat, you'll then want to fream coarsely chopped celery, onions, and carrots with a sprinkle of salt and a dash of water, thereafter enclosing under a lid until little to no liquid remains, leaving you with 5 to 10 minutes for browsing through the channel's content, making sure to like and subscribe. Thank you. To serve, I'll first lay in my cooked vegetables, followed by shredded pieces of oxtail before partially submerging with my rich broth. Now, with perfection in a bowl and your appetites peaking, I think it's time for tasting, tasting, tasting. All right, are you ready? Are you steady? 3, 2, 1. Wow. I suspected that this would become my favorite soup, and That expectation was rightly placed. This is my new favorite soup. It's deep. The tomato base to it with the wine, and I think we both know that when you cook with wine, things are just better. Oh, and then the oxtail is so rich, fatty, and in a really nice way. It's falling apart as well. It just melts in the mouth because of the slow, steady cooking. And please, as I've said this before, I'll say it again, always have bread, always have soup with nice, hot, crusty bread, buttered, crusty bread. It just lifts everything, adds texture. And speaking of texture, the vegetables added to this, cooked fresh, they're al dente, they still have a bite to them, and they add a wonderful element to this soup. As a whole, this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful plate of food, and it's brilliantly British. So please, 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 I urge you, make this soup as soon as possible, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you all for allowing me to show you how to make a hearty oxtail soup. Knowing that you loved this episode, please don't forget to click on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button so that you don't miss any of our new releases. Tell everyone you know, and I mean everyone that you know, about the Brilliantly British food on this channel, and follow us on all of the social media platforms that this channel is on, and I will see you next time.